Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And I keep saying it, but the police are not your friends. I recently did a video on a child who was strip searched by the police. This wasn't done in a police station or a secure unit, or was it done in a hospital or medical facility? It was done in a spare classroom at the same school to which she attended. The girl was menstruating at the time. This would have been highly traumatic, embarrassing, and just generally awful. What was worse was there was no appropriate adult present. No one safeguarding the child. That is bad. But it's not as bad as the news that's been revealed today. It wasn't a lone incident. It's come to light that over the last 3 years, the police have strip searched 650 children, a quarter of them without an appropriate adult present. Why are police strip searching children on an industrial scale? Why are there no safeguards for the safety of these children? Why are police so interested in undressing children? These questions need to be asked, and senior officers need to be held to account. But so far, no one is holding anyone to account. And none of the police are coming forward and whistleblowing or going to the press to say this is happening and it's wrong. So they're all conniving in it. And that is why the police are not to be trusted. And certainly not with children. Let's have a look at this report. Right, here's the headline. Met Police. Now, before I actually get into this, let me tell you, the headline is bad. The details are bad, but just wait until, well, let's just wait and see. The Met Police strip search 650 children aged 10 to 17 in 3 years, with no appropriate adult present in nearly a quarter of all cases, the watchdog reveals. Figures show 95% of strip searches were carried out against boys. 23% of cases, no appropriate adult was present, contrary to the guidelines, and thus making the search illegal anyway. No further action was taken in 53% of all strip searches of children. So in other words, over half of these searches were needless and pointless, and therefore done out of some kind of ill-justified pleasure bent of the cops. It's the only explanation. But it gets way worse when you hear the next bit. The Metropolitan Police strip searched 650 children in 3 years, with 6 in 10 of them black boys, a watchdog has revealed. 6 in 10. 60% of all of these searches were black boys. In a country with a black population that is represented by 3% of the population. 3% of the population. I'll just say it again. 60% of them, of these children that were searched, were black boys. The Children's Commissioner published data from... You think that's bad? Wait. The Children's Commissioner published data from Scotland Yard showing the youngsters aged between 10 to 17 were strip searched between 2018 and 2020. 23% of the cases no appropriate adult, as mentioned, such as a parent or social worker present, contrary to guidelines, and no further action taken in 53% of all strip searches. A report published today by the Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel de Souza, says, "We question whether this low level of successful searches indicates that this intrusive practice is justified or necessary in all cases." No, it's not justified at all. Sure, there are occasions where a strip search is necessary, no doubt about that. However, under no circumstances, ever, should police be allowed to do this. And certainly not be doing it in classrooms or on the street or anything like that. If a policeman has a reason to strip search someone, he must take them into custody, have them in a secure position, either a secure unit at the police station or a secure healthcare facility, and the search must be carried out by a doctor or appropriately trained medical professional, not by a policeman. Sure, a policeman can be present for the chain of evidence, but the policeman must not be doing the search. Here we go with this figure. This was astounding. The figure showed, as I mentioned, 95% of strip searches were carried out against boys, with 58% of them against black children, 16% against Asian children. Only 20% of all strip searches were done against white children. In a country that is 90% white, only 20% of the strip searches were done against white children. I think there's a word to describe the Metropolitan Police. It begins with R and it ends with cyst. Now, I can't say because of the YouTube algorithm, but you know exactly what the word I'm saying here is. So a series of cases emerged earlier this year when the Met strip searching girls who were menstruating at the time, including a 15-year-old girl known as Child Q, and I've done the video on that, which I mentioned. Now, Dame Rachel D'Souza said, "I am deeply shocked. I'm also extremely concerned by the ethnic disproportionality shown in these figures, particularly given that ethnicity was determined to be such a key figure in the Child Q case. I am not reassured that what happened to Child Q was an isolated issue, but instead believe it may be a more systemic problem around child protection." And she is bang on 100% right. Why? We have to ask these questions. Why are the Met Police targeting ethnic minorities so disproportionately? Why are they targeting and strip searching children at all? And why are they doing it so many times without an appropriate adult present? The only thing I can think of is they are R and cyst, and that they get their jollies by looking at children. You know, they're peas. They are definitely peas. Dame Rachel pledged to raise her concerns with the police and the Home Office, but the police ended up going, "Oh, we've had a look at it," and nothing came of it because the police police themselves and nothing ever comes of it. Many strip searches are carried out when officers suspect children are carrying product. But Irina Pona of the Children's Society said she was horrified by the number of youngsters subjected to intrusive and traumatic procedures. She added, children are being completely failed if even basic safeguards are not in place. We often support children who have been groomed and coerced into crimes like county lines dealing, only to be treated as adults who have made willful decisions rather than the victims of exploitation. And this is what happens. You get kids as young as 8 or 9. "Hey, not you have some nice trainers, just hold this for me." The next thing you know, they're doing this. They are not making informed decisions and they're being dragged down a line. Even so, the police should not be picking these children up off the street, taking them into a room, undressing them and giving them a good look. If they need that, they get a medical professional to do it. A Scotland Yard spokesman said the Met is progressing at pace to ensure children subjected to intrusive searches are dealt with appropriately and respectfully. I don't believe him, because we all know the police are liars. We've already made changes and continue to work hard to balance the policing need for this type of search with the considerable impact it can have on young people. You're lying. You're quite rightly outright lying. Because this has been going on for years. And yet, it could be cured overnight. We have ensured our officers and staff have a refreshed understanding of the policy for conducting a further search, particularly around the requirement for an appropriate adult to be present. More widely, we've reviewed the policy for further searches for those aged under 18. It's simple. You bring it in and starting at midnight tonight, bang, medical examiner. You have a doctor or appropriately trained medical professional will do the search. As I say, a policeman can be present, but the policeman does not do the search. And you have to wonder why this has been going on for years and why no policeman has gone to the press and said this is wrong. Because the police look after themselves and they never grass themselves up. Ultimately, the police are the biggest criminal gang in this country. But all this happened in one police force. They're not even the worst police force. So you know it's happening all over the country. I reckon the number is probably 5 to 10,000 children nationwide. Anyway, I'll come up. How has it taken this long to come out? I mean, this is an appalling abuse of power. This just highlights the corruption and lack of trust and decency that the Met have. No child is safe with them, and any person of colour can obviously see that they are very deeply disadvantaged when dealing with this force. They need to be root and branch reformed, changed. Senior officers, starting at the very top actually, starting with the Chief Commissioner, all the way down to the lowliest constable straight out of college. It needs to be completely investigated, and changes must happen. Anyway, if you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notification of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well away from policemen, and goodbye.